On this edition of the ZTV Sports Report, we have an exclusive interview with Akron women's head volleyball coach, Tom Hanna.
We'll also give you scores and highlights from our men's soccer, women's soccer, and volleyball teams. So stay right here because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. Welcome to another episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips athletics. I'm Nico Weathers.
And I'm John Alfieri. Akron football has had a roller coaster season with an 0-5 record. They returned home after a bye week and hope to get their first win of the year against their biggest rival, Kent State.
That's right, John. Kent State is Akron's biggest rival. Akron has defeated Kent with winning the prize wagon wheel for 4 years straight. The overall record rivalry dating back to 1923 is 35-24-2.
Kent has had some struggles of their own on the year with a 2-4 record heading into this hyped-up homecoming game. Here with the breakdown of the game is my co-host, Nico Weathers.
On October 12, 2019, the Akron Zips took on the Kent State Golden Flashes in the battle for the notorious Wagon Wheel Trophy. Akron came into the contest 0-5 on the season, but they lead the series against Kent State with a record of 35-25-2. The game starts off with the opening drive where the quarterback of Kent State, Dustin Crum, throws a deep 49-yard pass to Isaiah McCoy for the touchdown, starting the game off with a score of 7-0. As we look on, we see Isaiah McCoy and his teammates celebrating because they just scored the first touchdown of the game. Kicker of the Akron Zips, Corey Smiggle, misses the field goal right as he failed to put the Zips on the board. Quarterback of the Akron Zips, Cato Nelson, scrambles out of the pocket with little to no time and takes a shot from multiple Kent State defenders. The kicker of the Zips, Corey Smiggle, officially puts the Zips on the board with the field goal from 30-plus yards out with some assists from the wind. You can look on as him and his teammates are celebrating as the score is now 7-3. Kent State's running back Will Matthews pounds the ball up the middle and officially scores a 5-yard touchdown, raising the score to 14-3 Kent State. As we transition to the Zips having the ball on offense in the red zone, Cato Nelson snaps the ball. He holds the ball for too long and takes a vicious sack from the Kent State's pass rusher. That sack brought a bunch of energy to the Golden Flashes because that is now a turnover on downs and it is their ball once again. As the play-action play breaks down for the Zips, Cato scrambles up the middle. He takes the defender's ankles with a juke move to the left and eventually gets tackled. Coach Tom Arth is trying to rally his players knowing they are down by 2 possessions at halftime. Fresh out of halftime, quarterback Dustin Crum of the Golden Flashes attempts a 30-yard pass downfield, but it is broken up by the Zips defenders. The Zips secondary makes it very difficult for receivers to get open, which leads to Dustin Crum scrambling for 4 yards against them. Kicker Matthew Trickett scores a 45-yard field goal, raising the score to 20-3 Kent State. This time, quarterback Nelson has a clean pocket. He tries to make a pass deep, and it is deflected by a few Golden Flashes, which almost gets intercepted. Here with the post-game press conference is head coach Tom Arth.
Well, I think I am. I'm extremely optimistic. I really am. I can't. It's disappointing, and I know that in every one of our games up to this point, there's things that we could have done to give ourselves a better chance and to play better. But at the end of the day, I'm always coming away with something that we're doing really, really well, and I'm just waiting for us to go out there and play 4 quarters consistently, the way that I know that we're capable of playing. So I am excited. I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited for that opportunity in that moment when we do that because, it's a tough situation to be in, and it's not easy for anybody, but at the end of the day, we've got to be more consistent. And, when we get there, we're going to be a really good football team.
And until next time, my name is Nico Weathers, and thank you for watching ZTV Sports.
A big loss for Akron in front of a large, energetic crowd does not look good for first-year head coach Tom Arth. Granted, he is coaching a team that he did not get to recruit with a full offseason, but the fans are looking for some success, especially against Kent.
Hopefully they can find their groove as they continue into MAC play. Let's take our first break, but when we come back, we will have highlights from our volleyball team as well as the women's soccer team's latest match. Stick around.
Welcome back, Zips fans. Let's shift to our women's volleyball team, who has been rolling out the wins this season, as they have been dominant in both in and out of conference play.
Their record is 11-4 with a 9-game winning streak. In MAC play, they are 4-0 and hoping to gain another win against Bowling Green.
Akron's star player so far this season has been number 10, Alexis Adleta, who has 75 kills and is averaging 3 kills per set in conference play. A kill is an attack by a player that is not returnable by the receiving player on the opposing team and leads directly to a point or loss of rally. Here with the highlights from the Akron volleyball team's latest match is Brianna Gordon.
Thank you for tuning into the Zips volleyball game versus Ohio. The first set started out intensely. There was solid volleyball by both teams. Ohio took over the game quickly, scoring the first few points in the first set. That didn't deter the Zips. They were able to respond with 5 consecutive points, closing the gap. The remainder of the set consisted of back and forth between the teams. Akron was able to take the first set with 2 late 3-point runs. Seniors Elia Karsner and Ashley Richardson lead the team offensively, with Taylor Sherritts and Megan Kelly supporting defensively. The second set carried the momentum from the first set. Akron took 4 consecutive points thanks to 2 kills by number 4 Elia Karsner and a kill by Richardson. The Zips were able to score another point due to an error by the Bobcats. Ohio didn't let the loss of the point affect them, responding with 3 points, taking over set 2. The third set mimicked the first set, with Ohio taking the lead. Akron found itself fighting point for point against the Bobcats. The third set remained close until Ohio scored the last 3 points, winning the set. Number 9, Ashley Richardson, delivers a powerful serve to the Bobcats, who fight to quickly return the ball to the Zips. The Zips return the ball, making sure the Bobcats don't score. The Zips executed an awesome offensive formation, which allowed them to move in and attack, scoring a point. Here is Coach Hannah with the individual player details.
I think Ashley Richardson continues to be really solid for us. Even had a really interesting block on an overpass late in the fourth set, and just had a lot of energy after that, which is not her normal personality, and we needed that. Lex Adlita passed ridiculously well today. Tegan passed very well. Taylor Sherritts passed very well. So we've still got that on our side. Now, can we again take advantage of what that opportunity provides us? We'll find out tomorrow.
The fourth set started with the Bobcats leading with 7 points. The Zips tried to catch up, scoring a few points throughout the set. Akron scored 3 consecutive points thanks to Richardson and Atleta. The duo eventually followed with a block, bringing the Zips 2 points behind. Each team is trying to score the next point, deciding who will be the winners. The game's momentum remains lively, keeping the audience guessing. Ohio secures the fourth and final set, winning the overall game, causing Akron to lose their winning streak. Here is Coach Hannah with the overall game highlights and what's expected next for the Zips.
Just again, not our best effort. We just talked about in the locker room. We were okay. It was unfortunate to kind of let the winning streak come to an end. The winning streak overall in MAC and at home kind of come out with a maybe not solid effort by us. And with that being said, we lost the sets. We lost by 2, by 3, and by 3. So we're clearly in the match. I would like us to take a better advantage of our passing. We passed a dead even 2-3. We passed 60% perfect. We just got to side out and use that to our advantage a little bit better, which we've been doing most of the year until today.
Thanks for listening. I'm Brianna Gordon.
Thank you, Brianna. That loss drops our women's volleyball team to 12-5 on the year. And they also took their first loss in MAC conference play. They look to regroup in their next match against Kent State.
Let's jump over to our women's soccer team, who has a 5-7 record on the year and a 2-2 record in MAC play so far. Their top scorer, Ashley Amato, leads the team with 3 goals.
Goalkeeper Libby Harper has let in 11 goals on the year, but has a very impressive 75% save percentage. Our own Jemiah Kyle has the latest highlights.
On a late night during October 12, 2019, the women's soccer team took on a very big game against Ohio University. Every year, this has always been a big game to come to besides our rivalry. The Zips came out very prepared and ready to take on this win. Starting out with the ball is Ohio University. They did not have a play set up just yet and end up getting the ball kicked out of bounds, which ended up being a foul ball. And now as the Zips have the ball, we have great ball movement, including having space within one another so everyone is not crowded, also just getting the ball down the field, which was key within this first half. The Zips also anticipated great defense on the Bobcats. They made sure they stayed between the ball and the player at all times, which made it a struggle for the Bobcats to score. The first goal attempt came from the Bobcats, which was unsuccessful, and our goalie did a great job by staying focused and staying attentive. The Bobcats once again took another shot at our goalie, which did not appear to go in. They had great aim, just could not connect with the net, which OU fans were very devastated. Entering the second half, our Zips gained possession of a ball from a corner kick. A great kick. It looked as if the ball was so close to being in, but we did not stick this goal. Great job offensively, but we just have to get the ball within the net. The Zips has now increased their speed and now is outworking OU. They did a great job by fighting for the ball, playing till they heard the whistle, and staying aggressive throughout the whole game, which led us to almost scoring a goal. Number 14, Allison Meany, she did a very good job by coming down the field with ball control and trying to put the team on her back, but she just could not get the ball within the net. Number 16, Abby Townsend, shot so close to the goal, which her teammate was able to help her and headbutted the ball into the net. With that being said, the score now is 1-0. Ohio University is up. The Zips nonetheless stayed motivated as the quarter was winding down. With a great kick down to number 9, Sydney Worthy, she did a very good job of staying balanced with great footwork. Worthy got the crowd up off their feet as she crossed her defender and almost scored the ball within the net for the Zips. As number 14, Allison Meany, is coming down the field, she has a very clear view of her shot. With barely any defense on her, she is able to score a Zips' first goal with a tip from the goalie's hand landing right inside the net. With that being said, our final score is 1-1 tied with Ohio University. And next up is an interview from head coach Noreen Heerly on the tie win.
It was a brilliant performance and it was a very exciting game. Everybody that was here was they were on the edge of their seats, and that's the beauty of the game. And it was a classic game, both teams going for it, flat out on both sides of the field, and so it was a great performance. And I thought to go 1-0 down, to come back in, this shows the character of this team against the top team that was 7-3 coming into this game, and I thought we definitely held our own tonight, and we'll take it as a point gained maybe, and we're kind of disappointed because we felt we had a couple of chances down the stretch. I thought in the overtime we were pretty much on top, and but their keeper came up huge there, and just like a matter of seconds to go in the last minute. And
This is ZTV, and I'm Jemai Kyle. Stay tuned for more highlights.
Strong effort, ladies. Both men and women's soccer programs have had a really rough start to the season. They still have a handful of games to turn their fortunes around.
Another hard-fought match. We're going to take our last break of the show, and when we return, we'll have highlights from the men's soccer game, as well as an interview with head women's volleyball coach Tom Hanna. Welcome back. We now go over to the men's soccer team, who picked up their first win of the season on October 2nd against VCU. They would then face Florida International at home, where they would tie 1-1 in double overtime before going on the road and losing to Butler 1-0 in another double overtime match.
Zips men's soccer returned home looking to keep their string of success going with their record of 1-8-1. On October 12th, Akron faced Bowling Green and picked up a win at home with a score of 2-1.
Akron hoped to have their first consecutive wins of the season as they hosted Michigan State, who comes into First Energy Stadium with a record of 2-6-3.
What a win for our Zips. That win puts them at 3-8-1 on the year. They are still experimenting with ways to work as a team and piece it all together before the end of the year. Hopefully they can keep a winning streak as they face in-conference opponents and make some noise in the MAC conference.
Well said, Nico. With the women's volleyball team's success this season, we thought it would be interesting to give you an exclusive interview with head coach Tom Hanna.
Coach Hanna has this team firing on all cylinders, and my co-host John Alfieri had a chance to talk to him and see what makes this team click.
I'm here today with Coach Tom Hanna from the Akron volleyball team. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm all good. Thanks for having me over.
Of course. So how many years have you been coaching here at Akron, and what has the support system of the University of Akron been like for you?
This is my 5th season, and it's been great. It's really the reason why I ended up looking and considering the job many years ago, was I felt like it was time to get to a place that had resources and support to compete at a higher level, and it was an opportunity that presented itself, and here I am.
So your record on the year, where do you guys stand as of current?
Yeah, 12-5. I'll say with a question mark. 5-1 in MAC. That one we know. That one's the one that's more important. So we're sitting 5-1 in the MAC, leading the East, and second overall out of 12 teams.
That's awesome. So obviously a lot of success this year, obviously more than maybe in the years past, especially in the recent past. So would you say this is the best team that you've ever had?
It's funny, I don't couch it in those terms, but I would have to say at this point, yes. I look at kind of each group as a silo, and there's teams, like you said, we've never won 5 MAC matches in the previous 4 years. But I think there were times last year when this team, last year's team was maybe as good as this year's team in some ways, but in terms of finding a way to grab the wins, it's certainly a no-brainer, I guess, at this point with 5 wins in the MAC.
So I guess what makes the difference this year versus past years? What makes this team click, both on and off the court versus your past teams?
We were finally an older team. We returned 13 players. That's not been the case in the past. We've always been younger to middle of the pack age-wise, but we also now have players, especially in our junior class, who've been in the lineup since day one. Emily Wagon is one of the best, if not the best setter in the conference. Taylor Sharitz is one of the best liberos in the conference, and that comes from, hey, they've been on the job for 2 years already. Taylor Karusevich, who's in a serving specialist role for us right now. She's one of the top ace producers in the conference. I think she's in the top 100 in the country. And again, just settling into that role, does some other things. They're also, again, third year on the job and understand it, get it. They've been through some battles last year. That was a group that went 3-11 in conference sets decided by 2, 3, or 4 points. Right now, we've actually already played 16 of those in way less time, but we're 8-8. And some of those losses, I think last year we've learned some lessons and we've been able to be more productive in those tighter sets. I mean, part of it is Ashley Richardson as a senior, Ilya Karstner as a senior. They're really hit the level we need them to be at. E's been hurt pretty much off and on the last 2 years, so she hasn't been fully healthy. So I think she's put in a lot of time to get to the point where she's at right now. Both of them are do the right thing kids. They're always doing the right thing academically, athletically, socially. They're putting work in off the court. So I'd probably say those two. But again, Emily's made a really big jump, in terms of her ability to see the whole game, isolate our hitters as a junior. Again, how much of that is video work she's doing on her own. She's doing that, I don't know, how many hours, but those are 3 people that probably have put a lot of work in to get to where the productive level they're at today.
So, Coach, you said you're 12-5 on the year, right in the middle of conference play. Does it help playing these MAC teams knowing that you have some people returning and the coaching styles a little bit, or does it change a little bit every year?
It changes a little bit every year, but again, I think in terms of confidence that, again, last year we were this close X number of times. We lost 3 matches, 15-12 in the 5th last year and 1 15-11. A lot of people have similar systems. It's not exactly plug and play, hey, recruit that kid, plug her into that spot, but there's some similarities, and we have a comfort level with what they're going to do and what they may or may not do, and limit some of their options in terms of when we're prepping our scout, like, hey, they're not going to probably do this, so we know it limits some options, and we can base some block and defense on that. So the longer you're around and the more consistency there is in the conference, it certainly doesn't hurt. And again, for our kids who've, again, got some miles on the tires, it's a little more comfortable knowing who they are and what they do.
And, Coach, last question for you. End of the month, you guys will go to Bowling Green for the MAC tournament. Where do you see this team finishing in that, and do you think that this team has the potential to take it all the way and hoist the title?
We haven't punched a ticket quite yet, so I won't book the ticket to Bowling Green yet. Do we have the potential? Sure, but there's probably 4 or 5 teams that have the potential. There's still, we're at 6 MAC matches. There's still 10 more regular season matches. There's a lot more to play before we'd have a better handle on the potential. Based on our current body of work, sure, but there's a lot more that has to be done to get to the point where we're talking about hoisting a trophy.
All right, Coach, thank you very much, and make sure to cheer on your Zips this Friday as they take on Northern Illinois and hope to continue their success this season. With ZTV Sports, I'm John Alfieri.
Coach Hanna and company have had some close matches this season, but their toughness has shown as they have fought through adversity and picked up wins along the way.
It should be an exciting weekend for all Akron sports as our women's soccer, volleyball, and football teams are all home. Make sure you go out and show your Zips some love. Well, we're all out of time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the ZTV Sports Report.
Make sure you follow us at ZTV Sports Report on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest Akron Zips scores and highlights. Signing off, I'm Nico Weathers.
And I'm John Alfieri.
Go Zips.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.